Okay, so I wanted to do a quick video on a game that I would consider amongst a bunch of my favourite games for the last generation, and yeah, that game is Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. Now I know, obviously, Return of the King was, I mean, the graphics in Return of the King was a bit better, but not by a massive margin, and it did have improvements and whatnot. And obviously, it's, you know, the continuation of the story and this, that, and the other. But for me, my favourite out of the two towers and the Return of the King, has to be the Two Towers. Basically, the reason why is many things. First off, when these games actually got released, I hadn't seen the Lord of the Rings movies at the time. I never went to the cinema to see him, and I didn't get him on video. I only got a chance to actually watch all three movies when that limited edition DVD extended edition, or is it just the extended edition? I think it's the limited extended editions, but whatever. I only got to watch Lord of the Rings films when I bought that anyway, and it was bloody epic. And I remember watching those movies, and I was watching them like from mid-afternoon. By the time I finished watching them, it was dark. So, you know, it was just so long, and they added each movie, because it was the extended editions, added like an extra 25 to 35 minutes on top of the films or thereabouts. So it really was really long movies. So I never actually got to watch the films when these two games were released last generation. So the Two Towers was released in, I think it was 2002, wasn't it? 2003. So yeah, it had a big impact on me because I love the Lord of the Rings story. I love The Hobbit. Just one of the best, greatest kind of fantasy stories, novels that have ever been created. And I remember watching that animation of Lord of the Rings when I was little, you know, with the live action bits done over the animation, really good. Can't remember the guy who made it now, but I just always loved that, and it's a pity they just ran out of money and didn't get to finish that. So this game, when it came out, had a big impact on me. I just couldn't believe that I was playing a Lord of the Rings game, basically, and it was just so bloody good. The graphics at the time was amazing. The way they integrated the cutscenes from the film, which I hadn't seen before, and they kind of seamlessly overlapped that with graphics. So the graphics would be laid on top of that, and then it would go either from the graphics to the film or from the film to the graphics. I thought that was brilliant how they did that. Plus, it was just the gameplay, you know, this hack and slash gameplay where you got to wield a sword and kick or cast, and it was just amazing. I just thought it, you know, it was just the right genre of game for the genre of film, basically. And it was just a great movie to game license. And as anyone knows, there's very few great film to game licenses out there. A lot of film to games licenses or whatever just a shit. And but the Peter Jackson ones are actually pretty good. The King Kong was just excellent, and the Two Towers and Return of the King again are just excellent. So I don't know whether they'll do a Hobbit film, games rather, when the films come out. They probably will, but yeah, whether they'll be any good, I don't know. Yeah, so I just love this game. I think for me it just holds a special place, like for me with games, because it was just that first Lord of the Rings experience. Always wanted to play a Lord of the Rings game with amazing graphics and being able to be Aragorn, and I thought that was really cool, and being Legolas or Gimli. And I got to do that with this game with the Two Towers, and it was just epic, just brilliant game, where you could kind of level up as well and buy upgrades for new attacks and new weapons and armour and stuff. I really liked. Yeah, and then Return of the King came out, and of course I bought it day one, and yeah, brilliant game, as I said. But you know, I really love Return of the King, but it's the Two Towers that is, for me, the more special of the two games. I just quickly want to talk about Lord of the Rings Conquest that came out on the 360 and PlayStation 3 a few years ago. What the fuck was they thinking making that game? That game was terrible. I mean, you know, Pandemic were making that game, and I remember everyone saying, oh, they did the Battlefield games or whatever, or did they do the Battlefield game? Battlefront games? I don't know, but everyone was saying that, yeah, it's going to be great, going to be good. And of course, they released a demo. Now, I played that demo and I thought it was shit. And sometimes you can play a demo and the demos turn out to be worse than the games, and vice versa. Sometimes the demos are bad and the game's good. Sometimes the demos are good, and the game turns out to be bad. In this case, the demo was bad and the fucking game was bad. It was, oh, what an awful game, man. Why did they make it? Lord of the Rings Conquest, just why? And I had this kind of intuition or instinct to do not buy this game. And I just thought, well, maybe it's just the demo, and I just went out and bought the game day one anyway. And one of the worst games I've bought for the 360 of this generation. Really, really bad. I mean, did no one at the developers play the Two Towers or Return of the King? Did they not have an Xbox or PS2 and have these games there while they was making that game? Because they should have had. And what was going on with EA? Because I think it was EA again that published the game. Did they not have any quality control? Now, if I'd been either the publisher or the developer of that game, I would have gone, oh, this game is shit. You've got, I don't know, 6 months to turn it around or it's getting cancelled. That's what I would have said. Because that game was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. Everything about the game, the gameplay was bad. The hit detection was really off. The levelling up, well, I can't actually remember whether it was any levelling up. This is the gameplay was fucking awful. The hit detection was off. The graphics was shit. Wasn't a, you know, it's meant to be this really open kind of game, and it wasn't. What else was bad about it? Yeah, just the balance in the shooters as well was really terrible. It's a really bad game. I think instead of protecting the Lord of the Rings kind of, I hate to call it a franchise, but you know, series when it comes to games, it was just put out there. Whether it was good or bad, it was just put out there. There's no protection of the Lord of the Rings as a really decent, you know, series. It didn't do justice to the films. It didn't do justice to the books, especially to the books and what, you know, what J.R.R. Tolkien created. In fact, it pissed all over that. It really was that bad. Now there is a new Lord of the Rings game that's coming out. That's going to be an RPG. But I reserve judgment for that. I really don't know whether it would be good, and I don't have faith in the publishers or the developers with that game. So I just feel like there's no faith, there's no drive to make another decent Lord of the Rings game. They just want to, I just feel like they want to put anything out there, and it's not very good. It's not doing justice to the books. So Yeah, but I mean, as I said, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, it's just a fantastic game.